out there. I sent the text to my nieces this morning and getting them all fired up. What is going on with this microphone?
Don't break it. Hey, I've already broken multiple mics, not in this studio, but in the last studio. Don't do it, Joe.
Yeah,
don't touch it.
It's got Steinmetz's hands written all over it.
Well, he's back today, so I'm not blaming Steiny for that one if it breaks. I'll blame Mr. Mark Willard, who also likes to do this.
Oh, Willard does a lot of that. No, it's interesting how the veterans are the ones letting everyone down. Similar to the Warriors. God. The veterans letting the youngsters down.
That was a 4 for that pivot.
You like that? I want to get into the Giants because I thought last night was a compelling watch. Giants-Dodgers. It was awesome. But I have to start here. Last night, history was made.
Oh.
In the Shasky household. Joe, you're a father of 2?
I am. Father of 2, a boy and a girl.
Loveman, you are not a father.
Shout out Maury.
I'm just a guy.
But you're stunting like your daddy. So I would say this. My wife and I have differing opinions on this. I want to sleep train my son to be able to sleep in the other room. I created this other room for him where we decked it out, and it's a boy's room. You know, it is awesome, and I'm proud of it. And I cleaned his closet out last week, and I got the whole thing set up for him. Joey, I mean, it's everything that you envision.
You're doing the Ferber method is what they used to call it back in the day. The Ferber method, letting the kid cry and stuff like that. Let him sleep train, let him do his thing.
Relative.
And then relative, but you check in occasionally, but making sure that he could self-soothe because he'll be able to do that going older.
Exactly.
Easier transition when he's not a baby and he's a toddler.
Look, my wife has separation anxiety. Let's just call it what it is, all right? I mean, she went 2 days at work and like, please come and visit me on Wednesday. And I did, and it was awesome. And I love my wife.
She wants to show off the baby.
Look, she's a great mom. And she's been better than I could even anticipate.
Happy Mother's Day to her, by the way.
Absolutely, and to yours as well. But last night, a record was made. My son got put down, and I've been putting him down. Bedtime's about 8 o'clock, 7:45. So I'm watching the Giants. I got, and I'm doing my Steiny here. I got the Mavericks game on the small iPad, and I'm going back and forth. Love the Mavs jerseys last night. I'm watching Oklahoma City fight back in that game, and I'm going back. Wow, there's a lot of Dodger fans at AT&T, but it looks pretty packed to me for a Monday night in the middle of May. School's still in session. I thought it was a pretty good crowd. Everybody wants to point about the crowd being absent. Well, let's give them some love.
35,000. Announced.
It looked it, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we put the little guy to bed about 7:45, and that's the wind down time. He goes to bed at 8 o'clock. Cries for about 10 minutes. Boom, knocks himself out. Now, I was playing with him, and we were working on rolling over, and I'm rolling him the ball. He likes to put the ball in both hands. Now he's grabbing the bat, and, we're doing a lot of hand-eye coordination skills because I'm, got to go straight to the majors by 3 years old.
He's Barry Bonds Jr.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be one of those dads. But point being is that my wife likes to bring him into our room and sleep him in the bassinet at some time between 9:30 and 11 o'clock, depending on when she goes to sleep. And I'm like, just let him sleep there until he truly wakes up. Last night, he slept all the way through the night. I woke up at 3:30 this morning, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is incredible. The youngsters are absolutely developing, as in the Shasky household and at Oracle Park.
I was going to say, you're bringing that all together somehow at the end there. And you stuck the landing.
That was actually really impressive how you pulled that. You had the veteran pivot. The vets are letting everyone down at the station and on the Warriors.
I knew
and then you tie your baby story into the Giant. Chef's kiss.
It really was. So I'm sitting there watching the Giants last night. And look, the injuries suck. Jung-Hoo Lee, it sounds like he's going to be out for maybe the year.
Yeah, when you don't announce it the day of, that means it's not something that's small. That's not something that's just a bruise. It's not.
They know what
like
it
that.
is.
They know what it is.
Yeah.
They're calling in a secondary doctor to get a second opinion on everything. That usually means it's going to be night-night for a little while.
And what have we been basically banging the table? And I know a lot of people, 95-7 the game. This is one thing I hear a lot online. You guys, you wanted high-priced free agents. No, we want young superstars that we've developed on our own. That is the path for every team. Now, if you don't do that, we want to hit free agency and sign somebody.
Everyone wants a high-priced free agent. Everyone wants a name.
Sport.
Yes, every sport. NBA, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. I want the name. I want the sexiness. So, yes, when they got Chapman, that is a name I am familiar with and many of us here in the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
Jorge Soler, guy hits bombs.
Yeah, we saw him in the playoffs.
We saw him in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like, those are names, and they didn't overspend for them, although that Chapman one right now is not looking great. But, you know what? I'll say this. When you got the young guys playing well, that helps, regardless, because then you see a vision. And that's the thing we saw last night, I felt, Joe Shasky.
Why is that?
We saw what the Giants could be potentially going forward. Now, I don't really believe in moral victories or anything like that. I'm not saying, hey, listen, you're playing your rivals. You want to win that game. You were in position to win that game. You thought you could have won it. You didn't.
Yeah.
That sucks. And you got all those fans there in Dodger blue. God, and Shohei Ohtani, by the way, he just looks so good in that color. Mookie Betts, there's just something about that market and star power that, you know what? It ranks up everything. It ratchets it up, all of the tension in that ballpark. And it was fun to watch on a Monday night, to your point. I guess my question to you is, Joe, the expectations coming in this season for you were what?
My expectations were I wanted to see the young guys.
Okay.
I've been pounding that table.
But did you think they were a playoff team?
No.
You didn't. A lot of people did, though.
No, well, the moves they made, I wanted them to be in playoff contention.
Okay.
And I wanted them to be in that final playoff spot, which would be the 6th spot.
Okay.
The wild card spot. Did I think they could win the West? No. Did I think that they could, compete for a World Series? No. Self-awareness to me, Joey, is the number one attribute in life and in sports. Know who you really are. If you're not a power hitter, be a singles hitter. Be the best singles hitter you can be, Pete Rose. If you're not going to be a, Instagram model, figure out what that next path is, And so
Gap.
I look at the Giants. They're not a World Series contender, okay? What can you do? Develop the young guys. Now, I was hoping that the veterans that they signed would help supplement the winning and maybe build a culture that was more conducive for young guys to contribute. But last night, Joe, you got a little taste of Heliot Ramos making plays. Big RBI single late in that game. You saw Luis Matos come through with a huge home run on a curveball, breaking ball from Yamamoto, who was dealing last night. I saw glimpses of what the Giants' future could look like. Now, could these guys develop into the stars that the Dodgers have? That's probably not going to happen. I'm realistic. Again, self-awareness. But, Joe, you can't tell me that wasn't fun last night.
It was, and you also saw the growing pains.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to, go into this direction, whether it's forcing your hand or not, there's going to be some growing pains. So the good with the bad, and some of the bad was Tyler Fitzgerald 100%. Getting picked off there. That can't happen. You're pinch running for Wilmer Flores, who gets on base. Hey, Blake Trinan, by the way, guy throws nothing but nastiness.
I like Blake Trinan.
I know you do. Obviously, former A.
Yeah.
Big spots I get a little nervous with him because he can lose his command, but that stuff is just that natural sink and cut he's got on those fastballs is just nasty. So Wilmer getting on base there was huge. The leadoff, Fitzgerald getting picked off, that was tough. You got Schmidt. I mean, he's still chasing a lot of stuff. He's not doing well, but that's okay.
I agree.
If I'm playing a lot of the young guys, I expect that going forward. Just, you know what? Let them play more if that's the case. That's all. I think that's what fans just want, right?
Well, I'm with you on that. And
they need a vision is what I'm saying, because I don't know what the vision under Farhan, what that's been over the past 6 years.
Well, we could get into that at some point today. But last night's a great example. And I see everyone, this is what happens when you play the young guys. Talking about Tyler Fitzgerald getting picked off. Dog, if you're playing Little League Baseball, what does the first base coach say to you? Can't get picked off in this situation. We're in a tie ball game. It's late in the game. All right. You're subbing in as a pinch runner for someone. The one thing you can't do is get picked off. Whether you're 11, 23, 34, 46, it doesn't matter. So you can say, Joe, that's what young guys do. No, that's a stupid low IQ play.
Doesn't matter
by any player.
It doesn't matter if you're Willie Mays or Derek Barton.
Exactly.
All right, come on.
That is baseball 101. Okay, and Tyler Fitzgerald should know better. So that has nothing to do with youth. Trust me, I've seen old guys on the Giants run the bases poorly over the last couple of years. That's not making an excuse for him. That's unacceptable. But to me, I keep going back to, you have a lot of platoon one-way players, and then you put yourselves in these positions, and you're asking guys who are limited to do things outside of what their skill set is. Great example is Blake Sabol. Last night, Giants have a 2-run lead, and then they chip away. The Dodgers 3-1 at one point. Boom, guy gets a home run. It's 3-2. Mookie Betts gets to first base. Blake Sabol's backhanding balls in the dirt. Blake, you got to slide the knees and you got to use your chest.
Ray Fosse is rolling over in his grave
pads.
Right now.
And so he gives him a free 90 feet. Gavin Lux hits a ball into the bleachers on a bounce, so it's a ground rule double. And because of the free 90 feet, boom, there you go. You'll wipe away a Jordan Hicks could have been win. Now he's on the no decision for that. And Blake Sabol gives up free 90, which becomes a run, and now it's a tie ball game. And you wipe away an unbelievable play by Mike Yastrzemski.
I do wonder if Giants fans, because the expectations heading into the season, at least, and you alluded to it, you should be contending for a playoff spot. With all the injuries happening right now, it's still early. It's May 14th. let's maybe get through June 1st before we have any real definitive expectations. But for right now, I do wonder at 888-957-9570 if the expectations have changed to, you know what, let's just see the young guys and we'll see what happens. I think that's fine. I don't think that's crazy, but I do feel like if you're Farhan Zaidi, I don't know if that's good enough to save your job. Right?
No.
Like that's
a different question.
That is a different question.
That's a different question.
That's a different question. I'll say that, but this is what happens when you kind of pigeonhole yourself into not having a plan for the future.
I agree.
You kind of have to figure out something on the fly. And if you're Bob Melvin and you listen, this is your first year, you got to see what you got.
Well,
right? Like he's also going to be playing for his or coaching for his job going forward at some point. So why not play, the Ramoses, the Matoses, Wisely, poor Reitz, by the way.
Well, let's get into that.
He's getting thrust into some situations where, you know what? He's going to have to learn. It's a war of attrition sometimes. You're going to have to learn on the fly, man. And you're going up against the likes of Blake Treinen and Yamamoto, by the way. I know he's filthy. He's filthy.
That curveball, 20-mile-per-hour difference essentially between the curveball and fastball.
One bad pitch, and you know what? After that, he was pretty much lights out.
Yeah, but Matos came up there with a plan.
He did.
You're going to throw me a breaking ball first pitch. I'm going to yank it down the left field line, and that was a huge jolt.
And they got punched in the mouth a little bit first.
Yes.
They went down early, and I've been talking about this for
solo home run.
I know, right? You get punched in the mouth, but what do? You respond immediately.
Yes.
That's what the Dodgers and the Giants, it always feels like it's a seesaw, teeter-totter, if you will, back and forth and back and forth. Even when the Dodgers have been dominating the division the last 10-plus years, every one of these games, it feels like it goes down to the wire. And that's okay if you lose, if the young guys are a big part of why you were in that.
But think about the difference between the two organizations. In the 10th inning, you're starting off the inning.
Just go to the lineups.
With Brett Wisely. Yeah. They're starting off the inning with the ghost runner being Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani at the plate. I mean, their lineup is ridiculous. Max Muncy is an afterthought, and he is one of the all-time giant killers in the Giants-Dodger rivalry.
Will Smith gets swept under the rug, and no, we're not talking about the actor or the other pitcher.
He's amazing.
He's
or the hockey player.
He was heading into the 8th inning yesterday, Sam. I think he was like 0 for 21 or 22, and he's still batting .309. Obviously gets a single, and then I thought he had a 3-run jack there.
I know.
It was a double. By the way, people are getting on Matos in center field for stumbling a little bit. Come on.
I mean, I don't think he's going to make that play. I don't think he was going to make that play. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can be frustrated with. I think there's bullpen right now. Seems a little gimmickly. Also, just, for people that are out there.
It's kind of weird because I thought that was going to be one of the strengths heading into the season was that bullpen.
Well, we can get into that. The guests today, just so everyone knows, we got Jerry Hairston Jr. I don't know if you've ever heard this guy. He is a baseball lifer, and the way he delivers his baseball knowledge, I get a kick out of it. I'm not a huge Hairston. The Hairstons kicked the Giants' butt for years, both of them, right? Am I wrong? Talking about all-time Giants.
Scott Hairston still gives me nightmares.
Scott and Jerry Hairston were giant killers. Okay?
Jerry Hairston Jr. played in the big leagues.
So did Scott.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, his brother. And I'm telling you, all-time killer. He's going to be on with us at 8:30. We got John Shea who's going to talk to us. I do want to get into this bullpen because right now, Jordan Hicks, I thought Jordan Hicks looked good yesterday. He was showing so much competitive fire. He nibbles a lot because he doesn't have the greatest command. And so he gets a little low in the zone with that sinker, and he racks up the pitch count. And so he comes out of that game in the 5th inning. Yamamoto, conversely, is 68 pitches through 5. He's allowed to continue. And then you got to go to this bullpen. And right now, this bullpen, because of the lack of starters, with obviously Robbie Ray out, and you don't have Blake Snell right now, you're depleted. And you're looking at a lot of gimmicky guys. Ryan Walker, he's a Frisbee thrower. Luke Jackson, he's a Frisbee thrower. Guys are going to throw that sweeper, that curveball, that slider. I mean, Tyler Rogers, Frisbee thrower, even though it's coming submarine. And there's just too much gimmick.
And Taylor wasn't very confident in his pitches at all yesterday. He was going away. Well, and then he's lucky he got that hanger right in on the hands of Shohei, because I thought Shohei was going to launch that.
Totally.
This was a mistake. It was supposed to be outside and away. He left that up in the middle. He still struck him out. But even then, it was just you're not confident in this bullpen right now.
No.
At all.
And then,
I'm confident in Camilo Doval. I'm confident in him. His stuff is just electric.
But here's another example of the Camilo Doval thing. You use him in a tie game in the 9th inning, which I
hate that.
So me too. And I've talked to Sam Lubin about this over and over and over. closers come in save situations. Why are you burning one of your cards when you don't need to? Yeah. Like, you have other arms to go to. So, to me, Camilo is only coming in very dire situations because you don't have enough arms, 4-out save situations, or when you have a lead. Like, I don't know what we're doing.